Welcome to another episode of From There to Here. Today I have the pleasure of interviewing a young lady that you probably have seen. If you're anywhere in the poetry or area, you have seen this young lady. So I want to allow her to introduce herself, and we'll get started on this journey.
Thank you for having me. So we go way
Yeah,
back. Like
pretty
our
far
kids
back.
played basketball when they're
They
like
did.
5.
They
So
probably was like 7 or 8. Yeah,
7 or 8,
yeah,
either way, it was
yeah.
young.
Yeah, yeah.
Rian N. Jenkins, teacher, and I'm saying teacher, not former teacher, because I may be back in the classroom by next week.
Oh,
We
wow.
will see. Um, but have done it for 20 years. Been writing since I was 12 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I've published 6 books. I do spoken word. I have a mentoring group of girls.
Oh,
Matter
I
of fact, I
love
just got on
it.
one of my seniors about some things she needs to get straight. And I do an all black author book drive. That's and a host of many things. I have a podcast too, but that's been in hiatus. We'll probably start back in October, but it's a lot going on. Yeah.
You're literally everywhere.
I don't
I
mean
see
to
your stuff
be.
all the time, like anywhere, any and everywhere you are.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna hop right into the journey.
Mhm.
Because how did you transition from? You say you were a teacher for 20 years.
Mhm.
How did you transition? And she actually taught at the school that my kid went to as
Mhm.
well.
I tried to get her in my class, but she was not feeling it. I get it though. But
How
yes.
did you transition from school to kind of full time being in the space of writing and marketing your book and doing
Um
events and all of this stuff?
It's weird because for the longest I've been saying it's a God move, and I truly believe it was a God move. But then one thing after talking with my bishop, I could have missed the timing in it. I'm kind of
Mm-hmm.
going backwards, where I realized there were certain things I did not set up
Mm-hmm.
that could sustain me to
Mm-hmm.
stay in that place.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say back in 2023, um, went to high school. Nothing against the high school I was at,
Mm-hmm.
but I knew by day 3, this is not it, God. Like I don't know, this is not feeling right. I made it work because I love to teach. I love my kids. But I want to say October, our church, Right Direction Church
Mm-hmm.
International,
Mm-hmm.
had a conference, and I just clearly heard God said, "This is your last year teaching,"
Wow.
and I was just like, "What?
What does
No,
that
what
mean?
does that mean?" Like, so I had the benefit of being able to pull from some funds, so I was able to sustain. So I just really just put my head down, and honestly, besides working, I also rested because I was reminded I was that teacher that went hard. I
Mm-hmm.
went to all the games, I went to all the plays, I was at all the activities. I was and in my son transitioning into college. I took that time to rest,
Yes.
but at the same time, I got some work out there. So by the beginning of 2025, I want to say by February, I already released what was my 4th book at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Is that
that is a blessing for the world.
okay?
Yeah. So, and I'll admit that process only took a little bit longer, only because it took them forever to print out the hardcovers. It was ready by
Mm,
October of 2024.
got you.
So, and you don't want to print out a book and you haven't seen what it looks like before you give it to the people.
Right.
So that's one reason that took so long. But other than that, it just gave me to be in a space where I was in podcasting full time. I was able to volunteer a whole lot more and go out and do different things like different events. When I do my all black author book drive, I was able to go to events during the day
Mm-hmm.
and give out books. I also had the freedom that I love that even my mom the other day, right out the meeting of such and such. So having that time with her. But it was just like literally a place where I think I could have stayed in it instead of going back into teaching if I would have set up certain protocols, certain things in place that would allowed me to sustain it. So it's almost like God has let me do a redo.
How many years has it been since you've been in the classroom?
I was in there 20.
So you've been kind of in this space for how long now? Since
Only a year.
only a year. Okay.
Has it been a year? It was a year and a half. Because he just finished his first year in school. So it would be almost a year and a half going in December.
Okay. You know, I had the privilege of having what I call a sabbatical. It was a God-given sabbatical. It was like 4.5 months, and I am so grateful for that timeline because it's like it's something about refreshing and kind of just figuring out where am I, just kind of giving that clarity. You're not in the rat race, and you're just kind of like, okay, you have a space and time and space for God to just give you more clarity on what you need to do. So I think being out in it for a year is a whole blessing for real.
And
For
that's
real.
what I keep looking back at it because, matter of fact, on
Like,
my way here, a part of me was beating up myself like, God, I feel like I wasted a whole year. And he was like, hold up,
how?
don't
Like,
do
no.
that. He was
What you
like,
not
don't
gonna-
do that.
What you're not gonna do?
Yeah, what you're not gonna do.
Uh-huh,
Because he
uh-huh.
said at the end of the day, there's a reason why you're here. And he said, but I need you not to say, he said, because at the end of the day, no one can say, I won't say no one. Saying a self-published author released 3 books in 1 year, and I still got one on the way.
That is definitely not a waste of time.
It's not a waste of time. So don't, fret yourself. At the end of the day, it's a bigger plan, it's a bigger purpose. I still know I'm called to write. I'm working on book number 7
You
as we
said you've
speak.
released 3 this year? Wait, I knew about the blessing for the blessing.
This one came next, and then that one.
Oh wait, we gotta hold it up.
Yes. So this one came May. So this is because I did a love letter to our Black boys. I had to do a love letter to our Black girls.
What?
So Naima With It was the same one who illustrated it. But what I love about this one is she did the art medium of acrylic and she did digital for this one. And she made sure I had a back cover
Got you
for this one. So yeah, that one definitely.
3 books in 1 year.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's impressive.
Very.
You know how many
And I had-
people are sitting on books right now, whether it's a children's book, a novel, whatever the case may be. The number of people sitting on books.
I actually agree with that, but
that have not made it to any form other
Yeah.
than notes and random but to have 3 distinctly published books in 1 year.
Yeah.
I think that's
Yeah.
I think that's awesome. I don't know why you downplaying
I'm
that.
I don't mean to downplay it. I guess for me, I don't mean to downplay it because I do make sure I post stuff and I talk about it and whatnot. I just sometimes I guess because you're in the midst of it, it's hard to sit.
You don't see the whole big picture
Yeah.
yet.
So
that's
it's when
fair.
other people bring it to my attention,
fair.
like Ryan, what you have 3 whole books. Like, and I remember one person saying, you what?
Right.
Did you just hear yourself? And I was like, my bad. Okay, let me, thank you for the flowers. Yes.
So these 3 books that were released this year, what would you say was the motivation behind the 3?
Well, the both of the children's book, I believe in being affirmations.
Okay.
So A Blessing for the World. Joshua coming up, I would always say he was perfect for the world because Joshua was that child who did not get in trouble in school, who had good grades. Teachers requested him in the classroom.
Oh, I
So
love
I
that.
would always say he was perfect for the world. But for whatever reason, poetically, it did not flow. So I replaced perfect with blessing.
Okay.
So in that book in particular, you're dealing with the fact that you're going to deal with heartache, but you're still a blessing for the world. You may be the child that gets on honor roll. You may be the child that just gets to C, and you're fine with that. You're still a blessing for the world.
Right.
So just affirming them in that, because sadly I have witnessed, and I feel like I've been part of that culture where we constantly push our kids to be honor roll. And it's not that they can't do it, but if they don't see the purpose, that doesn't mean they don't have something to offer.
Right. Because the classroom is not the place that everybody thrives.
No.
I mean, that's just point blank.
And it's not even that thriving. I had one student who I knew was a genius, and I asked him, why don't you push yourself? Because he said, I don't see the purpose.
Wow.
He said, it's easy.
Wow.
I pass. It's not challenging me. I mean, I'm gonna do enough to get by. And he was super smart. So it was like they don't see the invested value. Then you have other people, because they're pushed that level, they find themselves on honor roll and whatnot. So it's just I even talk about hair texture.
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah. So and ironically, my son went through all that. So it's like, and then the whole multiple piercings and tattoos. Sadly, my son has gone through all that. So so it's like, just let them know, despite all that, because sadly, especially our Black culture, period, it's like we cannot be ourselves. We've been told for the longest we have to mold into this European standard.
Yeah.
And it's like, nah, you don't have to do that. So then Heaven's Jewel is pretty much the same thing, and just affirming young ladies to be themselves, but also allowing yourself to rely on your village. Teaching us to let them again, be who they've been called to be, not who we
Right.
want them to
Right.
be.
Right. Right.
So,
I love that. I love that. And
mhm.
then reverse, what was um the inspiration behind that one?
I'll admit, Reverse is a long time coming. Reverse,
Okay.
I've been writing that since 2014,
Wow.
and just
That's
trying.
hope for the person who's been sitting on that book. You heard that
Yes.
hope? You heard that jewel of hope?
Yes. So
Okay.
I'll admit I was sitting on Reverse for a minute because finding the right editor is very important as an author, to find an editor who understands your voice.
Okay.
So I tried to work with one editor, it fell apart, and it's so with like slowly but surely when I finally found the editor, and she was very thorough with my process. But Reverse is pretty much two best friends, Monica and Donovan, who have known each other since they were in the womb, literally. And it's loosely based on my childhood experience, where I had a best friend growing up. His mom and my mom taught together. Our brothers are 3 years apart,
Okay.
exactly. And basically, Donovan comes to Monica when they're probably going around 7th grade and saying, "I like you."
Mm-hmm.
And she's like,
I don't
"Why?"
like you.
And I'm like, "What is
I
happening?"
can relate. Oh my gosh, I had a best friend, a male best friend growing
Mm,
up. It's like, I don't like
mm.
you like that.
Yeah, and then when they go to middle, when they finally meet junior high, she notices like, "Oh, he is
Wait a
cute.
minute, he
Like
kind of cute
maybe
or whatever.
like what?" And so, but her daddy's like, no, you're 12. Social studies, science, and math and ELA are your boyfriends. Like,
Yeah,
nah, don't
that's
trip.
fair. That's
So
fair.
it's called Reverse because they are literally going back and forth in their feelings for you. Not really. Donovan said, I'm gonna marry you.
Okay.
Monica's like, I don't know about this, but then my daddy is tripping, so let's hold off. So it's called Reverse because she has to figure out what she wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, you're getting Donovan's perspective of how he feels about this whole situation, how he's navigating the space with her.
So she, in a sense, has to back into it, if you will.
Yeah.
I see what you did
So
there.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
All right. So you said something about editors. That's one of my questions on my
Mhm.
list. How did you go about finding an editor for
That
this
is
project? Because I would imagine that's a tough feat.
Yes, and the crazy part is I follow a lot of authors,
Mm-hmm.
and was on someone's Instagram live, and she was talking about how she had someone evaluate her manuscript.
Mm-hmm.
And the lady she listed, I reached out to her.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, and evaluated. Her name is Megan Joseph from
Mm-hmm.
Joseph Editorial Services, and she
Wow.
evaluated my manuscript. I'll admit I was mad at first because she was telling me to change things. I was like, "Ma'am, that's fine," and not realizing she has an expertise. But then it was just something about her. God was like, this is it. Like, you don't need to go anywhere else. Like,
Got
this is it
you.
right here." So I'll admit we played a little bit of tug of war at first because she didn't get that this book was in the 90s,
Mm-hmm.
because I would bring up stuff like World's Funniest Video,
Mm-hmm.
and she was like, "What? The kids won't?" I know, because it's based in the 90s. And she was like, "Oh, okay." So, but other than that, like, she truly understood my voice. So
Okay.
it took a little bit longer to come out, only because it's like finding the right editor. And then I really felt like I wanted to traditionally publish versus self-publish.
Okay.
But it was, to me, seemed like a daunting task. And I was like, if I can just put my work out there, I'm gonna put it out there. And if someone wants to pick it up, which I've heard people had happen to them, then we'll go from there.
Okay. So the editing process, I mean, not the editing, the publishing process. I
Mhm.
mean, obviously that's a second whole
Mhm.
feat. Tell us about
But
the
it's not
publishing
as daunting
process.
as people think. Like, once you
Oh,
get
it's
it,
not as daunting as the traditional,
no,
obviously.
no, no. Now traditional, like people don't realize with traditional publishing, I have to find a literary agent.
Mm-hmm.
And then that literary agent has to decide, okay, let's find who will
Like
want
shop
to
you
shop you
around.
around. You
Yeah.
can't just go straight to a publisher. Now, if it's a smaller publishing house, and there are plenty of those here in South Carolina, they will just directly take your work. There's one I know that's in Charleston now, who will take submissions and let you know yay or nay,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't have to pay for anything. You just get 60%.
Mm-hmm.
Versus with self-publishing, I'm putting all my money up front,
Mm-hmm.
and then any money I recoup back, that's mine.
Okay.
But you have to be cognizant as a self-published author and tallying and recording how much money you make off each sale, because it's my money, but it's really not my money, because you're trying to make sure you are breaking even
Mm-hmm.
on your books. Like,
Right.
every book I have listed how much I paid for
Actually,
every
yeah.
single service
Yeah.
that went into that book.
Got you. Okay. Okay. So, my next question is, in terms of the stories, would you say how did all these stories evolve into, hey, I'm going to go ahead and release these this year? Like how did you get from them being in your mind, or whether they're in
Mhm.
progress, to their actuals in the same year? Like, did you set out and say, hey, I'm publishing 3 books this
Oh
year, or
no. Oh
how
no.
did
It
this?
definitely does not work that way. I think if I was with a publisher, it would probably work that way.
Hmm.
Because they have deadlines and whatnot. But I know for me, we could start from the beginning with a Queen's Anthem and a Queen's Heart.
Hmm.
It was just I had a whole bunch of poetry saved up and finally put it together, and finally, I think, and that was right after the pandemic. God was like, "Stop sitting on this, release
I
it."
love it.
So I released it, and they were supposed to be released separately, and I ended up releasing them together.
Hmm.
And then Confessions came out because basically I realized I need to do another because I write a lot when it
Hmm.
comes to poetry. So it was like I need to release another one. So I did that one. That was roughly around 2023, 2024. With Blessing for the World, I had already wanted to do a children's book.
Okay.
But initially it was going to be based on when I was pregnant with Joshua, I had all these poems I wrote in anticipation of him.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah, and then but it was like when I finally found my illustrator, Naima,
Hmm.
I realized it was right at the time when he was graduating from college. I mean high school. So I said, let me just do a blessing for the world. So I wrote the poem, I sent it to her. She did the illustrations based on everything, and then we just went from there. So it with the process of with the idea and you releasing the book solely relies on how long does it take you to edit. Do you have to go back and reprint and reformat things? I'll admit the picture book was a lot quicker process than the novel,
Gotcha.
when the novel and the poetry anthology. When it came to the novel, Reverse came out of a dream. I was listening to my students present their Reader's Response Journal project, and one girl admits Stephanie Meyer, who wrote the Twilight series,
Hmm.
that came out of a dream. Stephen King, all of his stuff came out of dreams.
Mm.
So it was like I started realizing how vivid my dreams are and taking note of that because I remember at the time having a BlackBerry. So every time I wake up from this vivid
Not a
dream,
Blackberry child.
yes, a BlackBerry. That's gonna show how back in the day that was. So I just remember waking up from my
She gonna say it all
dreams.
casually.
I just slid that in. So if y'all don't know what that was, it was like a mini laptop in your hand.
Right,
So literally.
right.
So, but Reverse came out of a dream. So I would literally wake up and jot down my dreams.
Mm-hmm.
And this one wouldn't leave me. But how Reverse started as a
Mm.
dream, it was Monica and Donovan as adults at a class reunion.
Got you.
And I said, why start here? Why don't we go back to the beginning where it started?
Right.
So this will be potentially be a 5-part series,
Mm-hmm.
but I think the last book I have in my head to write has them in high school.
Mm-hmm.
This has them starting around elementary, then going into middle school. So, and then you just keep writing and writing and writing. I'll admit my process is not traditional where some people, they focus on one particular piece and they keep writing until it's quote unquote
Finish.
done. We don't use the F word with writing
Oh,
because you can go back and revise it.
okay.
So yeah,
What do you call it?
just
In a happy place?
yes, yes, a good place.
Okay.
So but we literally with Reverse, I will admit that book has been written. And matter of fact, Reverse was actually longer than what it really is. It was actually 2 books in one. So part 2 is already written. I just got to go back and edit it. So, but I'm not a traditional writer where I focus on one piece. I will find myself writing on one. Like if you go to my Google Docs, I have multiple works I need to work on.
This is a very, very, very random question, but I'm just curious. If you had the opportunity to turn Reverse into a movie,
Oh yeah.
who would be the actors and the actress that would be Donovan and what's her name?
Monica.
Monica. Who would play Donovan and Monica? Like who would be like when you think of
I'm
these characters?
so not into young because I don't watch young kids. When she was young, I don't know her name, but she was the black girl in Henry Danger. It's a Nickelodeon show. Oh, she was so cute. But she was on. I know she's like in real life, like 25, probably 26 years old. But she played Henry Danger's, not necessarily his sidekick, but she manipulated the show. But for those of you who watch the show, probably know who I'm talking about. I could see her
Never heard
playing.
of it.
I could see her playing Monica, only based on that character on that show.
Got you.
Now I don't know her acting wise, and there's other actors out there, but that question threw me off. I'm
I
not
know
gonna
it's so
lie.
random. It's so random. I was just
So,
curious
and
if it was
then Donovan. That's a good question.
it was random. What would you say was the hardest part of going from written to published into marketing the book? Like, what would you say the hardest part and what keeps you motivated?
The hardest part from written to publish is just trusting what you wrote, and that's enough, and let's move on.
It's enough.
That's enough. Like, you're good. You don't have to add any more. Like, it was hard for me to go back and do edits because I would find myself re-editing stuff that was already edited. And it's like, nah, I need you to chill out.
So was it hard to, like, once you saw it again, was it hard to kind of leave it as is and not like, oh, let me just change this?
Yeah.
'Cause-
So yeah.
okay.
And that honestly, and when I think about it, that's why it was so important, like with my editor, for her to leave her notes up. Because if I saw she already fixed that or we already worked on that, I don't need to look at that.
Right.
And that was very hard for me to do when we went through the edits. Because how we edited several times online, and then we printed out a copy and we edited out the book again.
Oh, so it's not like a 1 or 2 pass. We talking about
no
7, 8 passes.
Yes, it was at least 4 or 5 hard edits.
What?
I think at least 4 or 5.
Did you feel like you were able to keep it organic though?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Like,
did you feel like you had to fight to keep it organic, or like
there were certain things I did fight on, and it wasn't like I had, like, it was punching. It was just like mainly, no, I think that needs to stay.
I got you.
But there were certain things she was like, nah, we need to take that out. And I said, okay. And I got why she said it, because it was like I was giving too much of a voice to something that didn't really need a voice yet. And there were areas where I didn't have enough voice. Like, for instance, in the book, Monica and Donovan both have a best friend. And they had like a brief chapter in the book, and she was like, to establish them, you need to add another chapter.
So that brings up a good point, because that tells me that it's super, super, super important who your editor is, because your voice can get lost, and you can be, doing somebody else's dream instead of the dream God gave you.
Oh yeah.
So it can easily turn into somebody else's something instead of, okay. So that's something you have to be very prayerful about when it comes to, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, definitely. Because at the end of the day, you want to make sure they understand. At the end of the day, do they get your voice?
Yeah.
And if they do not get your voice, then nah, we need to let that go.
Right.
So
Got you. Okay. How do you stay motivated in continuing to write? Or is that something that just comes natural?
I mean,
like
something that's
writing?
naturally. So I'll admit I do not write as much as I
You
should.
journal?
Off and on. One thing I've been doing lately, because I don't sit and write like I should, is I do a lot of voice notes. So when a poem comes to my head, I'll say it out loud and I'll go back to it and edit. I'm in the struggle space lately, I'd say within the last 6 months, where I'm struggling with the marketing part versus, yeah, you're marketing, but you need to work on your work. So I've been heavy on marketing, just trying to get my face out there.
Right.
And just like, I'm trying to get to a place where in the morning, so many hours after you pray and do your devotion and whatnot, exercise, you need to write.
Okay.
And then maybe an hour or two.
So keep the process going.
Keep the process going. So, because it's definitely work I need to be working on. Matter of fact, I was working on book number 7. And then because financially things weren't working out, me and my editor just paused it. And then we're coming back to it once everything picks back up.
Gotcha.
So I've been working. You just got to be consistent. And the reality is, if you're naturally a writer or creative, the ideas are there.
They're there. It's just
you just gotta
execution.
You just gotta execute them. You just gotta get them down. And that's one thing I also learned with the creative process too. My bishop helped me with that is, God is not obligated to repeat himself twice.
Oh, low key, that's a word.
Yeah, so
really not.
So there were times I will wake up in the middle of the night with this idea, and think, okay, when I get up in the morning, I'll just write it down. And then you wake up and you're just like, what was it that?
Oh, see, there was a time when God was doing so much talking when I was asleep that I would literally sleep with a notebook under my pillow with a pencil. So as I'm sleeping, I'm scribbling notes so I can know what in the world was we talking about last night in my sleep. So
So it's yeah, so literally I'll roll over, pull out my voice recorder on
I
my
like
phone
that.
and say, okay, and I'll say whatever I have to say and then let it go.
Yeah, that's good. That's
Mhm.
good. In terms of your marketing, what have you found to be the most effective so far in your
It
marketing strategy? I know it's kind of like a hit and miss, and
it
it's
is
a
hidden.
moving target.
It's a moving target. Like it's not like that's the only downside to being independently published versus traditional. Traditional, they have a
They got
team.
a
They
team.
have a
You the
team.
team.
Yeah, I am the team, the coach, the trainer, um,
The
the
players.
physical, the players. I'm the referee. I'm everything. So it's just like, so luckily for me, over the time, it took time for me to figure it out. So of course, social media, follow other authors and see what they do. But other people told me, one person suggested, which I realized I was already doing and realized I was
Mm-hmm.
doing, follow other people who are popular, period,
Mm-hmm.
and seeing how they're putting themselves out there.
Mm-hmm.
Social media is okay and it is a moving target. Another thing a lot of people don't realize is when it comes to putting your work out there, where can people leave reviews for your work? So as an author, the first thing you can definitely do is like I have a thank you card that I give to people,
Mm-hmm.
and it says, okay, if you love it, this is where I would love you to do A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So Goodreads is a good outlet. Amazon is another one because the reality is if you release it through a outlet like Ingram Spark, it will put your books on Ingram, on Amazon, and all these other places that will allow you to leave reviews.
Okay.
But also you need to have a website.
And the reviews are extremely important, obviously, because I don't pretty much buy anything if I don't have any reviews to.
Exactly. And a lot of people don't underestimate the power of reviews because I'm the same way. If before I go to buy something, I
I
look to
need to check
see
the reviews.
how many reviews do you have, and then what are they
And
saying?
how long ago was your last one? What the
Exactly.
current people saying versus the old people's? Because like when a new restaurant opens,
Mm-hmm.
like in the beginning it'll be 555, and then
Mm-hmm.
it'll change. So I need to check the dates, what type of time we talking about,
Yes.
like on the
Yes.
reviews. So that's very important.
Yeah, so me and my web developer, John Sims of Digital Pro Designs, we
He did
figured
some
out,
work for me
yeah, so we figured out how to have like a custom page on my website where
before
people
we can
can leave
post their reviews.
reviews.
I should post a review for the book I have.
Please, please. So
Okay.
it's like, so having things like that, a lot of people don't realize Google profile. That's a free service. So if you just set up your profile either as an author, I have it as my company name, but I share people the link. Like if
Mm-hmm.
I know you had my book for a while, I'll send you a text or email and say, can you please leave a review and I'll give you the links. And it's
Gotcha.
an easy copy and paste when you put on the different sites. So that's another way. Local news outlets is another
Oh,
way.
I saw you on the news recently.
Yes, but that was a struggle. Like I've been contacting them for at least a year. Like, yo, your girl got a book out, local author here, but I'm realizing more and more it takes you tying it to an event. So I've
Mm.
never had a real official book launch. I just
Ah,
I just go places and have my book signed. I need to, I will eventually.
yeah.
But matter of fact, we may be working on something in Sumter. I have to get with the person and we'll find out. But pretty much if you link it to an event, so because I was doing a book talk with Taylor Simon from Liberation is Lit at All Good Books, so the city was like, oh yeah, definitely come on. Or when I did my first spoken word showcase, Watch Fox was like, yeah, come on, when you can come.
It just need to be
It needs to be
connected.
tied to an event, but just for you to go on there and say, oh, I got a book.
Now you need to, what else? What
No,
else you
what
got?
else? Unlike traditionally published, like my favorite author, one of them, Jason Reynolds, he's on CBS Mornings all the time talking about his new books.
I love that. You're right.
Yeah, and I'm just like, but
He has established.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got
So,
you.
and
I got you.
yeah, so it's doable, but also when you don't get the sales you think you should get, you have to remind yourself at the end of the day, this is a God thing.
And what you have written is enough, and you are enough. It shouldn't. That's good.
Yeah,
That's
you
good.
can't get caught up.
Yeah.
Because you will get mad like I have. Because I'm watching people who I know. You didn't buy my book, but I see you. I pocket watch. I'm not gonna sit here and lie. I see you on social media. I see what you're spending. So I'm like, you couldn't buy. So God be dealing with me. God deals with me. Or when you have a whole long
Now she
conversation
said
about
she
your
pocket watching.
yes, or I'm at a vendor table. That's another thing about marketing. If you can go out and vend, but make sure that you can afford to vend.
Yeah.
Some of these events be charging
A lot
150
too.
to almost 300. If you know you can't make that in sales,
Don't even
don't even
take
do it.
another route.
No. So there are people who allow you to vend for free. I mentioned Taylor Simon. She's a good one who she's at Soda City the second and the fourth Saturday of every month, and she will allow local authors to come to her table and sell their books
Ah,
for free.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Are you working on any new projects now, and what should readers expect from you coming soon? Are there any new projects that you want to kind of
Yeah.
tee up a little bit?
Yeah. So you have Eminence, which is the book number 7 I alluded to earlier, which pretty much speaks about our power and just being our best authentic self. So one of the poems in there, matter of fact, I think I open up with that poem. It's called Consume. And you basically watch this girl going from realizing she's consumed with this relationship, this very toxic relationship, but she also discovers her power and realize she needs to let it go. So you have poems like that. I'm trying to think of another poem I have in there. I have one called I Be Black, and it's just speaking to our Black power, how we're just awesome and there's nothing wrong with being Black. And then Luke Brown, that is my baby. That is my
Luke
next
Brown. Okay.
fiction piece. So Eminence will definitely drop by the end of this year.
Oh, snap.
Hopefully. It's done. It's done, but we just had to finish. I wanted to print out the copy first
Wow.
before we
That would be 4 books in 1 year.
Yeah. It would be 5, but I don't think Luke Brown is ready for y'all yet. So we
Oh my
got some work to
gosh.
do.
This
So
has been a productive
yes.
year.
Yeah. So yeah. And I would say Eminence was my heart, where I literally was very intentional about every piece. And I'm intentional with all of them, but Eminence was different. Eminence was definitely different. But Luke Brown is another one that's loosely based on my life, my freshman year in college. And in real life, I'm at a club. But I knew I was going to see this guy that I liked. So I had no intention of getting my phone number at all. So I end up running into this guy. I remember he had the prettiest brown eyes. His hat was turned backwards, and we were dancing. I remember on a reggae set.
Okay.
And I thought he was fine, but I knew I was seeing old boy later. So I'm going to give you the wrong phone number.
Wow.
That's that opening scene of the book. So she ends up, you have Ava, who is in love with this boy who his nickname is literally called Nasty Nate.
Wow.
And no one can tell her that she cannot change Nate, and he won't be a good, lovable man. He's my man.
Wow.
And he won't, because I've liked him since high school, and he's feeling me, not realizing that he has 50 million girlfriends.
You know.
So Ava and
the age-old story of delusion.
Yes. And the fact that she went up to school, like I'll admit my first semester, I forgot why I was there. I was not there for the right reasons. So in real life, which actually happens in the book, the guy who I gave the wrong number to is talking me up to his cousin who goes to school with me. He was like, Ryan, I know Ryan. She goes to school. I can give you her real number.
Oh.
So we end up connecting and eventually dating. But in the book, it's like Luke keeps popping up, but Ava doesn't know what to do with it.
Gotcha.
So it's like, I'm with Nate, but then Luke is showing me something that, but I'm really devoted, but I really feel like I should see this through with Nate, but Luke keeps popping up in my life. So that's how the title of the book ended up being Luke Brown.
Got you.
So it's a matter of, number one, is she going to finally get her life together?
Is she going to get her life together?
Is she going to survive? Because her parents already told her, if you jack up first semester, you are not going back.
Wow.
And she's oblivious to life. She really is.
Low key, like I feel like that's like most women's story. Like it's not a question of if you have had a Delulu time or season. It's when was your Delulu time, your Delulu season. And prayerfully you age out.
I hope you age out. Oh, because this whole silly woman syndrome, silly women. So, but what I liked with Ava, which I don't know if I was intentional with that, but her friends did not allow her to be delusional. They were like, "What are
I love that. I
you doing?
love
Like,
that.
get it
She called
together."
it silly women syndrome. Don't
Yes.
be caught with silly women syndrome.
So it's crazy. So it was one of those things where it's like there's one friend in particular, and the reason why I can't recall names right now because it's been a while since I worked with the book was one particular friend who she's not gonna bite her tongue,
Mhm.
and she gonna let her know like he's a dog. Like what's
Everybody
wrong?
need one of those.
What is wrong with you?
Yeah.
Like let it go. So um that one I'm really excited about. I even had beta readers. That's another thing I forgot to bring up.
I had a question here about beta readers, but I just went ahead and went past it
Yeah.
because, okay, tell us about beta
You
readers.
need beta readers because you need to make sure that what you're saying is authentic and then make sure it's the audience that you're writing for.
That's true.
So luckily for me, because I was in the classroom, when I used to write, do a matter of fact, when I taught creative writing or when we would do creative writing exercises, I would pull up my novel, that
Mm.
novel in particular, and would read it to that's a book that Miss Jenkins, what's that book coming out?
Oh,
Or they would give
they
me
get
feedback.
excited.
Yeah. And then I finally pulled like 4 of them. It was like, I would love you to read my book
I
and give me
love that.
feedback. So only one, I'll admit, which he just graduated last year. He should be somewhere in
Mhm.
college. I know he is. He gave me, when I say ample
For
feedback from
real?
top to bottom, I think you should do this. I love how you did that. And then with Luke Brown, I got 2 of my former students who have been asking me since they read it, when are you releasing it?
I love
Like,
that.
stop
I
playing
love that.
games.
And I think what's important with the beta readers, you don't want to have yes people.
Oh no.
You need to have people who are going to give you some objective,
Yes.
clear, and
Yes.
who's going to read it actually and give you some
Yes.
really good feedback. These are not folks you just need to just go scoop up. Like you
Mhm.
need to be legitimate.
Yeah, and then
And maybe were these kind of the folks who you selected were those maybe the target audience
oh yeah,
for?
you
So you want
definitely
to
want to make
definitely
sure your
choose
target
target
audience.
audience. Yeah.
And then I've even seen it done because I was a beta reader for someone else. She even had a Google form that
Okay.
laid out specifically what did you think about this? What did you think about
Ah, that
that? So
helps
kind of helped
to
you
prompt those
guide the prompt
questions.
those questions. Some people feel a need to do a non-disclosure because you
Oh
don't want
wow, you
to
don't want nobody telling the
say
story or taking the story.
exactly. And I know for me because though they were kids,
Yeah,
they not
yeah,
doing it. And,
yeah.
and then a lot of my
That equal
students,
more work.
yeah.
They're not doing that.
So, but most of them, all of them were my former students.
I love that.
So it was like, okay, yeah, Michigan, you need to release this one. So I was
I
like,
love
okay,
that. Well, as we wrap this up, what advice would you give any aspiring writers, aspiring authors? What advice would you give them based on your experience up to this point?
just write it, stop playing games. Um, know that stop using Amazon, stop using Amazon.
What does that mean? Elaborate.
Everything. Everyone wants to use Amazon to publish, and that is not your
Oh,
only
to
way.
publish. Okay.
Don't do that. Like it's not like okay. I use Ingram Spark. There are other people out there you can use. It's a whole list of
But
them.
why not use Amazon? Tell us what your experience is.
Amazon. No, it's not my experience. Is what I know.
Okay, tell us.
Amazon takes your money. They make it seem like you
Oh.
own the book, that you own the rights to the book, and that you have all these things and you're making all this money when really they're hogging it. Like I told the analogy I gave somebody, it's like you have that really greedy cousin that you don't want to go to the buffet first because you know it's nothing gonna be anything left when they're done.
Mm. That's real.
Yeah. So, but what people don't know, you have outlets like Ingram Spark. And again, there's other ones. I use Ingram Spark. My author friend Taylor, she used Draft Digital, where they will upload it on Amazon, on Target, on Walmart. Even I've had books sold in Germany and United Kingdom for you. You don't have to solely go through Amazon. And a lot of people don't realize
That's
that
good to know.
if you don't own your own ISBN number, period, it's not yours.
Mm. That's a nugget right there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that wraps it up. Ryan said just right. That's what you
Mm-hmm.
need to do. So,
Mm-hmm.
Ryan, thank you so much
Thank
for coming
you.
out on your busy day to come
Yes.
join us down here. So, I thank you so much for joining us.
You're
And
welcome.
thank you guys so much for tuning in. We will see you back here next week. Bye.
Cool beans.